Hey, how are you? In this example, you want to find integration about square root of 5 plus ln of x over x dx. We know this function 5 plus ln of x under the square root, we can write here power half. And divided by x, it's meaning multiplication by 1 over x. Then, ask yourself, we have two functions in this example. The first function here, power, and second function power 1. This function, if you get behind it the derivative about this function, you must cancel the derivative and add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power. Derivative about this function, it will be 1 over x because the derivative about 5 equals 0. So we must cancel this derivative here, cancel the derivative, and write that function in the parentheses here, add 1 to the power, it will be 3 over 2, and divided by the new power, it will be 2 over 3 is the integration about this function plus constant. Okay, again, this function is meaning 1 over x multiplication 5 plus ln of x over power half. We have two functions, multiplication about two functions. Two functions here, 5 plus ln of x over power half, derivative for this function, it will be 1 over x behind it, so we must cancel the derivative about this function and add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power. So the result will be 2 over 3 multiplication by 5 plus ln of x all power 3 over 2 plus constant. Look at this example. 1 subtract cosine power 2x dx under square root, it will be space. We can find the integration about this function here. 1 could subtract cosine power 2x, it's meaning sine power 2x because sine power 2x plus cosine power 2x equal 1. Then integration will be here square root about what? 1 subtract cosine power 2x, it will be sine power 2x dx. And square root here, you can cancel square root about the power here. It will be integration about sine x dx because x belonging to 0 and pi, meaning lies in the first quadrant and second quadrant. So sine positive at first and second quadrant. We can write here absolute value about integration about sine of x dx, but he tell us x belonging to 0 and pi, meaning positive. Meaning will be what? Positive. So the result will be what? Integration about sine will be negative cosine x plus constant because he tell us x belonging to the interval 0 and pi, open interval here, and sine was positive at this interval. Look at here, integration about cosine power 9 of x multiplication sec power 10 of x d of x. We know sec of x is inverse about cosine, so we can write here integration of cosine power 9 of x multiplication by 1 over cosine power 10 of x dx, and we can simplify it, divided them, and simplify the result will be 1 over cosine x dx, and 1 over cosine dx, it's meaning sec of x. Can you tell me the operation here? If we have sec, we must multiplication by the expression 2 numerator and numerator. The expression will be what? It will be sec plus tan, sec x plus tan of x, numerator and numerator. Why? To get two function, numerator derivative about the numerator, because sec times sec equals sec power 2x plus sec x dot tan x dx over sec x plus tan of x. Derivative about sec will be sec tan, and derivative about tan will be sec power 2x, so the numerator derivative about the numerator. Then the result will be ln of absolute value about the numerator, sec x plus tan x plus constant. Look at this example, integration about 1 plus tan power 2x dot e power plus tan of x. We have multiplication about two functions here. Derivative about power here, tan x, derivative about it will be sec power 2x. We know 1 plus tan power 2x, its identity. Derivative about what? we can cancel 1 plus 10 power 2x and write sec power 2x. Okay, multiplication by e power plus 10 of x dx. This function, derivative about the function behind it, derivative about the power 10 of x, derivative about it will be sec power 2x. So we can cancel the derivative here and write the function here. So the result will be e power 1 plus 10 of x plus constant. This is the result about this example. Integration about ln of x dx. We can use the properties here. Put y equal ln of x and dz equal dx. And derivative about y, it will be dy, and derivative about ln of x 1 over x dx. And derivative integration about dz will be z. Integration about dx, it will be x. And using the rule here, multiplication about them, it will be equal ln of x times x. Ln of x times x, it will be x multiplication ln of x, subtract integration about x multiplication by 1 over x dx. X multiplication 1 over x dx. Okay, understood? Again, first we must determine function derivative about this function and integration about this function. Derivative about y will be dy, ln of x 1 over x dx. Integration about dz equals z, integration about dx it will be x. Ln of x times x, it will be x multiplication ln of x, subtract integration about x and x 1 over x dx. Multiplication about them, you can cancel them, the result will be here x ln of x, subtract integration about dx, so the result will be x ln of x subtract by x plus constant. Integration about x multiplication of x d of x. We must determine the function derivative about it and second function integration about it. Put y equal ln of x and derivative about the function, it will be 1 over x dx. And put dz equal x, integration about dz, it will be z, integration about x, it will be x power 2 divided by 2. And then we can use the rule here. It will be equal about integration, this function will be equal what? Multiplication about ln of x and half x power 2. It will be half x power 2 multiplication by ln of x, subtract integration multiplication about 2 function here, half x power 2 multiplication by 1 over x dx. It will be x power 2 divided by 2 multiplication ln of x, subtract integration of half here and x power 1, x power 2 divided by x equal x dx. And then we can write x power 2 here over 2 ln of x, subtract integration about this function, write half outside here, and we must add 1 to the power and divide it by new power. It will be half multiplication by half plus constant, so the result will be x power 2 over 2 ln of x, subtract fourth x power 2 plus constant. Integration about 9 over 2 root of x ln of x dx. We have two functions here. First we must determine two functions. The first function will be it y, and second function it will be dz, and derivative about y will be dy. Put derivative about here ln of x. Okay, derivative about y will be dy, and the one ln of x it will be 1 over x dx. And dz, the second function here, it will be the second function 9 over 2 here, 9 over 2 root of x, 9 over 2 what? Root of x. Okay, it's second function, so it will be the first function here and second function here. I want to find derivative about this function and integration about this function. It will be z, and 9 over 2 constant outside, and derivative about this function, it's meaning what? It's meaning x power half. We must add 1 to the power, it will be 3 over 2, and divided by the new power, it will be 2 over 3, because we divided by 3 over 2, it will be 2 over 3. And we can simplify it here 9 divided by 3 equal 3, then z equal 3x power 3 over 2. Okay, the derivative about y, it will be dy 1 over x dx. Integration about this function, we must add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power. So the result will be 3x power 3 over 2. Understood? It's z. 3x power 3 over 2. So we can use the rule about this function, multiplication about this function, and the result here, multiplication them, it will be ln of x multiplication this function. Then we can write 3x power 3 over 2 multiplication this function, ln of x, subtract integration of multiplication about two function here, this function and this function multiplication about them, 1 over x multiplication by this function 3x power 3 over 2 dx, and we can simplify it, write 3x power 3 power 2 ln of x, subtract integration of, here write 3 outside, and x here 3 over 2 and 1 over x, we can write x power negative 1, 3 over 2 minus 1, we can simplify it, 3 over 2 minus 1, minus 1 to meaning negative 2 over 2, so the result will be negative half. Integration about it will be positive half. Okay, positive because negative 1 plus 3 over 2, it's meaning negative 2 over 2 plus 3 over 2, it will be half. Okay, so the power here will be half, and then you can write here 3x power 3 over 2 multiplication by ln of x, subtract 3, we can integrate this function by 8 1 to the power and divide it by the new power, 1 plus half equals 3 over 2, and divided by new power, it will be 2 over 3, and we can cancel 3 by 3, so the result will be 2x power 3 over 2 plus constant. You can write x outside here, higher common factor between two term here, x power 3 over 2, and the remainder here it will be 3 ln of x, subtract by 2 here plus constant, and you can simplify it by drop this 3 here, right here in the power, we can write 3 here, it will be ln x power 3 subtract by 2 multiplication 3 over x power 3 over 2 in the outside between two term here. Integration about 1 over sine power 2x cosine power 2x, we can write here 1 over sine power 2x, it's inverse about what? Inverse about cosec, we can write here cosec power 2x over cosine power 2x dx, and we can cancel cosec power 2x here by using the identity 1 plus cotan power 2x over cosine power 2x dx, and then we can divide it, write 1 over cosine power 2x plus here cotan power 2x over cosine power 2x dx, 1 over cosine power 2x, we can write it what? Cosine, it will be sec, the inverse about cosine will be sec power 2x, and cotan over cosine, cotan over cosine, cotan it's meaning what? It's meaning cosine, it's meaning cosine power 2x over sine power 2x multiplication by cosine power 2x dx, and we can cancel them, and the result will be integration of sec power 2x plus write the x plus integration of 1 over sine power 2x, 1 over sine power 2x, it will be what? We can cancel them here and write 1 over sine power 2x, it will be cosec power 2x dx, integration about sec power 2x, it will be tan x, it will be what? Tan x, and integration about cosec power 2x dx, it will be cotan x, and write constant outside, but the result here will be negative and the inverse here will be negative. Negative times positive equal negative. So the result will be tan x subtract cotan x plus constant.